Today is story time. This is I've Never Felt Better. What was the rest of the title? Today is story time. This is I've Never Felt Better. Just one of the guys who tracked down vampires and other vampiric fuck. This is story time. I've never felt better. Is the title. Damn it. This is story time. This is the book I've Never Felt Better. Just one of the guys who tracked down vampires and other vampiric beings. Wonder how great the story will be. Reading wise, it's a good story, but no. Give me a second. I live day to day, not really live, but exist day to day. I am alive, but I cannot say that I feel I am. Fuck. This is not a hard sentence. By the way, the main character is female. It never says it, but when I tried to get somebody to do artwork for it, I thought, hey, that would be a better deal because everybody else has guys on it. I mean, every other thing where all the other characters are guys, but there's also girls. So why is that even? Fuck. Start over. No, we won't start over. It's too much work. I live day to day, not really live, but exist day to day. I am alive, but I cannot say I feel alive. I'm not a vampire, nor am I depressed. I just exist. This is not the sound of the character. The character does not sound like that. But, The day started out the same as all days do. Fuck. I can't read. Maybe I'll make the text bigger. Yeah, that helps. Like now I don't even know where I am. Starting over. I live day to day. Not really live, but exist day to day. I am alive, but I cannot say I feel alive. I am not a vampire, nor am I depressed. I just exist. Those are called articles, except for they. That's all I know. The day started out the same as all days do. I awoke. I sat down for breakfast for one. And I nearly drained all the life from my orange juice carton. An hour was left. 3 minutes in, you haven't learned a thing. We'll start over. I live day to day, not really live, but exist day to day. I am alive, but I cannot say I feel alive. I'm not a vampire, nor am I depressed. I just exist. I don't know what this is. The day started out the same as all days do. I awoke. I sat down for breakfast for one, and I nearly drained all the life from my orange juice carton. I awoke, An hour was left before I had to be at work, so I returned to bed, checking to see my alarm would go off within 30 minutes to give me time to rush through the maze of almost comical roads which lay outside my house on the way to work. That was a long sentence. Not even done, comma. Thanks to the myriad of construction and various detour signs littering the corners. Into paragraph 1. As I closed my eyes, I grasped my pillow to cover my ears to mask the daily sounds of trains and morning rush traffic, honking and yelling and profanity spouting ingrates and disrespectful kids yelling at equally unvaliant elders. I use some big words here. I tightened the pillow till I could hear only the loud muffled roar created by the blocking of one's ears. I think to myself, I wish to myself, I pray to myself, when I awake, please strike me deaf. Without the sounds of everyday life, without the yelling, the nagging, the incessant noise, incoherent blathering, my life could be different. I wouldn't have to bear witness to complaints from being behind the complaint desk at Goodbyes where I work. I would no longer have to cover my ears in order to get a moment of quiet, which even then it's not complete silence. Lost my place. But an inescapable roar! That took forever. The mere existence I live holds me like a vacuum to a fluff of dust, clinging on for its dear life, half attached to the carpet, dreading the split second when the final thread gives way, snaps, and it's sucked into the swirling mechanisms and buried below its family and unfortunate bugs, better known as death. I really like that visual. 6 minutes in, 2 paragraphs down. Next. I'm not moody or broody. I'm not depressed. I just don't live. I am like so many people, a mere drone of the human population. I serve my role in my community. I pay taxes and get paid for a job well done. It's just, I don't care. I serve my role in my community. I pay taxes and get paid for a job well done. It's just, I don't care. Sorry for repeating that. I serve my fuck. What of my life is exciting? What makes me interesting? Where's the motivation? I see coworkers do this exact same thing I do, but they light up at work. A smile from ear to ear and a laugh for every quip and observation a customer utters. Where does their happiness come from? Why are they joyous while I merely exist? I've seen my share of scared youths wishing they could... I've seen my share of scared youths. I can't really say that word. I have a lisp. I don't know. I've seen my share of scared youths wishing they could cease living, but I am not like that. I could not care either way. Live or die, life or death. I just exist. Paragraph 4. Beep, beep. The alarm rang through my pillow and forced my exhausted heap to slide out of the bed for a second time that morning. I threw on my blue Goodbyes uniform vest and stared in the mirror as I positioned my name tag that read, Goodbyes Complaints. My name is Timothy. How the fuck is that a girl? Alright, so apparently I did name the character. I think later I called her Dara? I don't know. This is the final. Doesn't matter. I remember how I specifically requested to have the tag say Tim. But that... Tammy. Yeah, change it to Tammy later. No, I didn't. I don't have Tammy. Maybe. I don't know. I could look, but I don't want to. 8 minutes in. Are you still with me? Here we go. We're still on paragraph 5. My name is Timothy. I remember how I specifically requested to have the tag say Tim, but that was a tough task for them. So while I work, I am known as Timothy, the average-looking complaint desk guy with glasses and brown hair. My name is not Timothy. This is not factual. I never worked at Goodbyes, which I guess you could guess what I'm comparing it to, but I'm not comparing. I'm just using a similar title because I wrote this back when it was a common thing that there were shows that had like Best Buy and Lowe's and Home Depot or whatever type of places that people, the main characters were in, and I thought, whatever Chuck called their place and whatever the guy on Reaper called his. I wanted something different. I wanted it to be just like them. So, it's Goodbyes. Where was I? I excited my apartment. I actually spelled it correctly. I exited my apartment, waved with a smile, and descended to the bottom floor where my car awaited with a ticket and broken side window. My CD player had been gifted to one of the hooligans who could care less about other people's feelings, only about their possessions. And the ticket warned me of having a broken window. The somber drive to work, with exception to the roaring wind through my broken passenger side window, was nearly relaxing. Had I not been so angry about my CD player's recent vanishing act and resulting ticket. I arrived at work and slowed for the speed bump, which of course shattered the remainder of the window and sent shards of shining sharp glass through my newly upholstered seats. You don't get sorry on every word, just when I know I have messed up. Which I only brought to remain in existence. Which I only bought to remain in existence. My skin opened with each yank of glass from the new, now ruined, leather upholstery. Where the fuck did arm come from? I excited my car. I wish that was on purpose. I exited my car and pocketed my hand. Blood seeped through my light tan khakis, creating a splotch below the pocket. Inside, not the pocket, but inside the building, Kevin, my partner at work. We have the same shifts. Had his chubby elbows on the counter and a dumb smile on his face. His eyes widened when he saw the blood down my pant leg. I smiled just as dumbly and entered through the employees-only entrance flip door and stood behind the counter, successfully blocking my bloody khakis. Kevin asked kindly what happened, and I explained this morning's car surprises. He was clearly trying not to laugh as he placed his palm over his mouth, but like a chittering hyena, he couldn't keep the silence, but then I just couldn't. He couldn't keep the silence, and following spitting over his... Words are hard to read. This is why I only do the filler voices. It just is. He was clearly trying not to laugh as he placed his palm over his mouth, but like a chittering hyena, he couldn't keep the silence now. What? He couldn't keep the silence and... Let's restart that line. One more time. He was clearly trying not to laugh as he placed his palm over his mouth. Like a chittering hyena, he couldn't keep the silence, and, following spitting just over his hand, he just burst out giggling. What was that face? I admit I see the humor in my situation now, but then I just couldn't take it. I told Kevin I was going outside for fresh air, and I quickly made my way to the back and now employee's fire exit. Out the employee's fire exit. Outside, I leaned against the wall and stared at all the happy customers soon to enter my place of work. And quite a few headed in the direction of the complaints section. I was about to run back inside thinking Kevin could use some help, but as the last customer entered the goodbyes, a scream echoed through the parking lot. From watching movies, I had assumed if I had even witnessed a crime, I would merely be a witness and call the police. But something was driving me that day. Something made me Something made me chase out that dream. Reading is a hard subject. So I took action and ran toward the scream. As I ran, I looked across into the parking lot and crossed over to peer between the cars. Nothing. New paragraph. Then another scream. I quickly turned back at the store and I saw it. a stereotypical black kidnapping van, slamming its door shut and speeding off. I ran as quickly as I could to my car and took off after the possible kidnapper, as one does. Then another scream. I quickly fuck. The black van, carrying a possible kidnapper and its victim, made a tight right out of the Goodbyes parking lot, nearly jumping the curb. Whew. I quickly started my car, peeled back, and jetted across the parking lot, dodging customers and cart pushers. Oh, the complaints I'll hear tomorrow. I make a sharp right and speed after the suspicious van. The van must have noticed me because it made a quick left. The van must have noted... Fuck, I can't even speak. Hey, should I do another one? Because there's more paragraphs in this there's more... Fuck. Can I do another one? Because there's more paragraphs in this chapter. And then there's more chapters. Now, it's not a long book, but it's going to be pain to get through. I'm going to finish this chapter. This is going to... You know what? I'm going to stop recording here. I'll be right back. This is going to be a long file, but it's not going to... But I am not going to read the whole book to you in one session. Why? Because it's too big of a file. So this is only going to be one chapter. Fuck-ups included. Because I could edit it, but why should I cheat you of the authentic exploration? What? Authentic experience of me talking to you in person. Why? Exactly. So I won't. Where the fuck was I? I am sorry for saying the fuck word so many times. I don't mean to. Sorry. Where was I though? The black van carrying a possible kidnapper and its victim made a tight right out of the Goodbyes parking lot, nearly jumping the curb. I quickly started my car, peeled back, and jetted across the parking lot, dodging customers and cart pushers. Oh, the complaints I will hear tomorrow! I make a sharp right and speed after the suspicious van. I cannot read. The van must have noticed me because it made a quick left. Hey, that's where we stopped. And then a quick left through the traffic to enter an alley in the wrong direction. I've seen enough cop shows to know cutting the crook off at the alley is the way to go. So I slammed on my brakes, flipped a quick illegal U-turn, flew down to the end of the block, made a right, and entered the alley. As I drove down the alley, I was worried my game of chicken with the van might not end the way I wanted. But then I realized the van was gone. I had flown down the street like a drag racer. No way this van made it out of the alley. This is why I'm not a voice actor, or a narrator, or a speaker, or a crazy person that walks up to you and tells you a story. This is why. And here's a new paragraph. I pulled into an empty building's driveway and exited my car. They had to have pulled into one of those buildings. They had to have pulled into one of these buildings. Their warehouse, perhaps? I peered through the cardboard, obstructed, shattered glass windows of the abandoned building and saw nothing but dirt and dust falling to the already dirt-caked floor. I ran to the next building and again found only dirt. Then, for some reason, I don't know why or what propelled me to do so, but I decided to look up. Maybe I was thinking they climbed up to the roof. I am not sure. But I do know once I looked up, I did not see a ladder or a rope, or even a series of outcroppings in the ledge that could be used for climbing to the top. All I saw was a large bright green square stretching from one side of the alley road to the other and encompassing one building's width. What am I staring at? I kept asking myself, until I looked down the alley and saw the outline of a rear bumper nearly at the edge of the alley. Could it be the van? Did I find it? Am I about to become a hero to the damsel in distress? I reached the end. This is a new paragraph. I reached the end of the That would have been great if that was on purpose. I reached the end of the alley to find the outlined bumper was, of course, the black van. But what struck me as odd was that the van was not in a driveway or a garage or even technically the alley. It was protruding. It was protruding out of the outside. It was protruding out of the side of the building. Only enough of the back door to see that it was black. And the bumper was vehicle. Fuck. Gotta pray for this one. Only enough of the back door to see it was black, and the bumper was visible. The rest appeared to be inside the wall. Appeared to be inside the wall. Sure. I felt along the bumper and against the black of the van to the point where it ceased to be. But I was still feeling van. The brick wall of this building never touched my fingertips. This must have been a hologram or an illusion. The brick wall of this building never touched my fingertips. This must have been a hologram or an illusion. I continued to feel along the van as I watched my hand disappear into the wall. I felt what had to be the door latch. Triggered the latch and opened the door. The door opened and the bricks then covered the van's back entrance. What? The door opened and then the bricks... The door opened and the bricks then covered the van's back entrance. Hey, I'm available for reading books in a book place. Bookstore. In a bookstore. Yeah. This would not go over well in a bookstore, would it? Well, 2 people showed up to watch you speak. Try your best. Here goes. I'm going to start off by reading you the paragraph where I believe it's most interesting. Here we go. The door opened, and the bricks then covered the van's back entrance. I looked back at the green square and noticed it had moved a building over. What fucking green square? No, wait, what green square? Missed something? The door opened, and the bricks then covered the van's back entrance. I looked back at the green square and noticed it had moved a building over. Had it noticed me? Was it... What green square? Fuck. I may have missed something in my original editing attempts. Give me 1 second here. This was edited like right after high school. Written right after high school. Is it good? Don't got any reviews, so it's up in the air. All right. Green. Did I miss that? No, I didn't miss it. You remember me saying this, right? Here, I'll start over for it, but it's here. So, I'm not sure, but I know I once... Okay, here we go. So, hold on. What the fuck? What is this? Hold on, please. Stop it. Okay, I'm not sure, but I do know once I looked up, I did not see a ladder or a rope or even a series of outcroppings in the ledge that could be used for climbing to the top. All I saw was a large, bright, green square. See, it's in there. I just don't remember if I read it. And I'm not going to edit this, so, here it is again. So, all I saw was a large, bright, green square, stretching from one side of the alley road to the other and encompassing one building's width. What am I staring at? I kept asking myself this, until I looked down the alley and saw the outline of a rear bumper nearly at the edge of the alley. Could it be the van? Did I find it? Am I about to become a hero to this damsel in distress? Well, I recall that. So here's the next paragraph again. I reached the end of the alley to find that the outline bumper was, of course, the black van, but what struck me as odd was that the van was not in the driveway or a garage or even technically the alley. It was protruding out of the side of the building, only enough of the back door to see that it was black and the bumper was visible. The rest appeared to be inside the wall. I felt along the bumper and against the black of the van to the point where it ceased to be, but I was still feeling the van. The brick wall of this building never touched my fingertips. I read that correctly. This must have been a This must have been a hologram or an illusion. I continued to feel along the van as I watched my hand disappear into the wall. Like, whoosh. Whoosh. I felt what had to be the door latch, triggered the latch, and opened the door. The door opened, and the bricks then covered the van's back entrance. Well, I looked back at the green square and noticed it had moved a building over. Had it noticed me? Was it alive? I didn't want to die from breathing in bricks. Should say brick dust. I don't know. I crawled forward until all of my body disappeared behind the bricks. And then I reached back and slightly shut the hatch. I'm a pirate now. I really should edit this. Please edit this when you look over it. That was a note to myself if I didn't edit it. I'm pretty sure I won't edit it. It's too much work. It's also a very long file already. And there's so many more. Well, there's not a lot of chapters, but there's still more chapters. Anyway, back to where we were. I quickly held my breath and stepped onto the bumper. Is this where I'm at? I quickly held my breath and stepped into the bumper. If this wasn't a hologram, I didn't want to die from breathing in bricks. I crawled forward, until all of my body disappeared behind the bricks. And then I reached back and lightly shut the hatch, hoping the brilliant green square did not see me. You see, I changed it from bright to brilliant. That is called, I don't know, changing. I don't know. So continuing, around the van, I spotted ropes and weapons of questionable origin. Where are these guys from? These weapons I saw were not American, Russian, or Serbian, because this character is very versed in knowing what weapons look like. I don't know how it's relevant. I don't know how she knows this. Timothy. I don't know her name. I forget what I changed it to. We're not going to make it into a comic, so she's probably going to become... No, she's still going to be Timothy because there's more episodes. Which there are episodes, while this is a book, the episodes are not a book. Ignore the last part I said. I should really edit that part. But I'm almost done with the first chapter, so hang in there. Damn it, where was I? Around the van, I spotted ropes and weapons of questionable origin. Where are these guys from? These weapons I saw were not American, Russian, or Serbian? Maybe military prototypes. I had no idea. That was a thought process. I crawled to the front window, climbed on the driver's seat, and peeked out. the kidnappers. I could now see there were only 2 of them. And that one of them was about a foot taller than the other kidnapper. They had this woman tied to this chair, and they themselves were sitting on chairs across from her, as kidnaps do. What polite kidnappers! Are they using her for ransom? Maybe they are opposed to violence. None of this was making sense. Then she turned around to face me, and I realized just what I had gotten myself into. End of the first chapter. How did I do? I don't think I did great. That was 30 minutes. So, putting that into comparison, I have another book called The Collection, where somebody did an audiobook for me, and I think it ended up being like an hour and a half for the full book. This is one chapter. It took me 30 minutes to get through one chapter. There was at least 8 chapters in the other one. It took him an hour and a half. I'm sure he edited it, but this was a lot slower. That's the point. So, if you like this, if you stayed to the end, please leave your name and number please leave a comment and don't give me your number. I will not call you. I do not like talking on the phone. It's no better than what you're getting right now. So I also just don't want to talk to anyone. But please leave your name. Please leave a comment. Tell me if you liked it. And also say you press the like button, the thumbs up, the heart, or whatever. Not whatever, but thumbs up only. No thumbs down. The thumbs up. Because I want to know that you liked it. And share it with people who have 30 minutes to waste listening to me talk. It doesn't start out very good. It doesn't end that great. But this is the first chapter, and I'm very proud that I read it all the way to the end. So I am going to go on to the next chapter in another video. Will it be done in time? In time for what? I don't know. But I'm busy. I'm going to do it. My dog is getting upset, though, because he really needs to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to take a break, take a potty soon, or in the middle. Well, I just leave a comment. Tell me you like this. If you didn't like it, tell me that. But, be nice. I tried. I really did try. I mean, I didn't try a lot, because if I really tried, I could edit it, or I could, take some time, take some takes. And once it's all perfectly perfected, I could tell you that, hey, this is the magic that I made. But, no, it didn't happen that way. Just authentic. Thumbs up, please. If you didn't like it, you can thumbs down it, but please don't. Thank you.